So I'm going to give you some of the background, to, not so much about Newton, but about international science and innovation and the Foreign Office's view of it and how we support what goes on. The main thing to say is we don't really have our own separate agenda. What we're trying to do here is to support whatever the UK and our stakeholders want to do in terms of international science. So what we have some, this slide shows some of the big drivers that we are using to focus the activities we're delivering. Obviously the industrial strategy, the 8 great technologies, the catapult centres, these are all important things that we're using to decide where we're going to focus our efforts. And the other, this isn't that dissimilar from a slide that Madeline put up, but obviously another focus for our attention are what are the big global challenges. The Foreign Office has a fairly small science department, so we can't do all of these, but we're certainly focusing on a number of areas where we hope we can add value, particularly things like antimicrobial resistance, climate change, food security, energy. So we're picking off some of those and working on them, but we're bearing in mind all these global challenges when we're thinking where should we focus our efforts in future. And it's important to say that international science and innovation is within FCO's priority areas. I don't think it always was, but it's very much coming up the agenda. And when I talk to people around the Foreign Office, they are interested in what we're doing and how it feeds into what they're doing. And they're interested in what we can offer in the way of support. This is some stuff taken from our sort of official purpose. And we've got in there, strengthen the UK's relationships with emerging powers in a systematic way across government to support UK prosperity and security. And that very much plays into the Newton agenda. We're talking specifically about emerging economies here. The part of the Foreign Office I'm located in is the Prosperity Directorate, and we've got a number of objectives there also which support our interest in science and innovation. So we've got something around building Britain's prosperity by increasing exports and investments, opening markets, ensuring access to resources, promoting sustainable global growth. And then within the economic diplomacy area, we've got science and innovation cooperation, stronger partnerships with emerging powers, again, playing very much into the Newton agenda. So I think a few years ago, you wouldn't have seen that in the sort of purpose and objectives of the Foreign Office, but it very much is now, and we recognise that as a soft power, science and innovation is a very important tool. The primary route by which we deliver our help and support is through the Science and Innovation Network, which is jointly funded by BIS and the Foreign Office, working very closely together. And this slide shows you where we've got teams and people located. We've got 90 people across the world in 28 countries, 46 cities. You can find this on the web if you want a bit more information, but you can see that there's a good network of people out there supporting the science and innovation agenda. And what do they do? Well, as briefly mentioned, they have excellent in-country networks. They can work through their Foreign Office networks and through their other contacts. They know a lot of local academics and industry experts, and they've got those people at their fingertips. And they are really good at bringing together UK and international stakeholders to develop new collaborations, to leverage international research funds, to generate new business or investment. And we're beginning to collect some metrics around what they do. And there's big sums of money involved, as well as these sort of excellent networks of people that they can draw on when the time comes, when you want to set up a new program, they know where to go. And they're also supporting the policy agenda, so playing into what we want to do around agriculture, food security, health, energy, climate change, all those different things. They don't have, this is a similar map to the one Madeline put up on Newton. We don't have coincidence of location of activity, obviously, because Newton has to be in these emerging countries, whereas the Science and Innovation Network is in a lot of more developed places, North America, Australia, etc., Europe. But we have networks of offices in some places in common, South Africa, China, India, etc. So there's some coincidence and some not. But the Science and Innovation Network very strongly supports what Newton's doing, and in some cases, people are co-located. A lot of the SIN officers I talk to are doing a lot of work around Newton. I talked to one of the regional managers recently, and she said she's spending an awful lot of her time building links with and helping her Newton colleagues. So they're very strongly supporting what's going on. They're increasingly focusing on what's happening in emerging markets, so moving more along the lines of what the Newton Fund does. I have to say our budget is is peanuts compared to the Newton Fund. It's a very small budget. It's under £2 million a year, but it's not for research itself. It's to set up these networks. It's to bring people out for workshops and meetings. It's a multiplier effect. So it's a small amount of money, but it can bring people together, and that can lead to something much bigger. And as I said, they're really helping out there to roll out Newton, to support what activities are going on through the Newton Fund. An important part of what the Science and Innovation Network does is communication, and we produced an annual report last year, and we're beginning to work on a new one. Sets out what the Science and Innovation Network does, what its priorities are, how it's feeding into the industrial strategy and the 8 great and global challenges, etc. Who our partners are. So we work with a lot of partners around the UK to help deliver different people's agendas. If you want copies, it's on the website. And finally, just to bring you back to, this isn't about the Foreign Office having its own agenda to deliver. It's about us doing what the UK wants in terms of science and innovation. So we've got a huge number of partners that we work with on different activities, and we're keeping an eye on what you all need, so we can make sure that we keep our work as relevant as it can possibly be. And thank you. That's all I need to say.